I was telling you, we're still discussing the chapter on mines and buried treasure. The last we discussed was if a person finds something in his house. And here, when we speak about in his house, we speak about if um, he finds unprocessed metal, right? Then that how ikhtilaf with regards to unprocessed metal. So this you have to draw the distinction here. This is important. We're speaking about a residential property, like your own house you find, right? Because normally farmlands, lands that are used to produce, are either ushri lands or haraji land. Now, what as the word suggests, ushar, you pay 1/10 of the produce to the government, and haraj is you pay a amount decided by the government, right, by the Muslim. Now, what land is ushri land? What land is haraji land? You can research this. You can research it and tell me. But from what I found is it's normally determined by the ruler. There's no hard and fast rule. Like when the Muslims conquer land, then they will decide, okay, this is going to be a Ushri land, this is going to be a Haraji land. And then the interesting part also is that as with the progress of time, that remains in what has been designated. It doesn't change to say if a Muslim buy that land or a Kafir buy that land, right? So for the time being, I want you to research this, but for the time being, whatever is a Ushri land is a Haraji land, the Amir al-Mu'mineen will designate it. Now the question comes about like us living in Darul Aman, even Muslims start to do farming here today, right? So the preferred opinion of all our ulama is that Luqman Ushan and Haraj doesn't feature here. Because, like I told you, if you understood an early explanation, so if somebody in the UK decides to do farming, what, right? They go, even though no matter how big farm it is. So remember, Ocean Haraj, you pay on the directly on the produce. There's no year passing. Yes, that is still applicable if you're a farmer, right? And you got you sold your crops, for example, and you got all the money, for example, and then your zakat year matures, right? Then you have to pay zakat on it. That's a separate issue. That. Here we're speaking about Ocean Haraj is that the moment the crop is harvested, you pay the zakat, right? So now I'm giving you this whole explanation because it's tied in here. So I was telling you, so a Ushri land and a Haraji land is designated by the state, right? Now, if you and your residential property, that is not a Ushri land or Haraji land. You understand what I'm saying? That is why even if you find a mine there, maybe you got your residential property and your residential property was situated on happened to be on a mine or something, and you started mining there, then according to the Hanafi madhab, there is no zakat on that, right? There is sorry, not zakat, but you don't have to pay anything um, to the government because it's not ushri and kharaji, right? So that was now we speaking about the residential property. Now read the next sabak. وإن وجد في أرضه, read from there.
قال وإن وجده في أرضه فإن أبي حنيفة فيه روايتان ووجه الفرق على إحداهما وهو رواية لجامع الصغير.
Right. So see, now we're moving away from your residential land now, right? Now we're speaking about if a person you got agricultural land, right? But it hasn't been designated as a ushri land or haraji land. Maybe we can understand the masla of a Darul Aman from this, because our land hasn't been designated by the Khalifa, right? So in wajada fi aradihi, so he's just got agricultural land, but it hasn't been designated. Sheikh, you must just tell these guys they must have their lunch there by you. Yeah, right. So if you got just agricultural land, right? In wajada fi aradi, we're still speaking about the ma'adan here now, unprocessed precious metals, right? It's still in its raw form, right? فعن أبي حنيفة فيه روايتان According to Abu Hanifa, there's two riwayats, right? So it means one riwayat says there is and one riwayat says there isn't. Are you with me? Right? So wajhul farqi ala ihdahuma, and the reason for the difference upon the وهو رواية الجامع الصغير أن الدار ملكت خالية عن المؤونة دون الأرض. So that riwayat that says that there is on agricultural land that hasn't been designated, right? Right, and there isn't on the house, right? So they're giving the reason. They say, look here, a house, there's nothing from the side of the government. Or okay, when we say government here, we don't mean the government in the Western sense, but we mean like in a Muslim land, the land, it has no levy per se. There's only two levies in Islam, and that is Ushur levy and Kharaj levy. So this residential land, it's got no levy. So because it got no levy, there's no designation from the Shariat that shows you don't have to pay anything. Like how we pay now here in South Africa or in England or whatever. I'm not sure about England or South Africa. Every land you have to pay you have to pay a rights and tax there. Even if it's not even developed, you still have to pay. So that's why they say you don't have to pay on the residential property, but you have to pay on the dar, right? Sorry, you have to pay on the ard, which is agricultural land. This is the reason for the distinction that the residential land, it has no levy. In so to say, it is in a Muslim country, like how we say, yeah, this came to my mind now. You get certain products that are tax-free, tax-exempt. Like, the government, they say that there's no tax on bread, isn't it? Because bread is the staple food of the poor people. So in South Africa, there's no VAT, isn't it, bread? Is it? The right or wrong, Kuma? There's no, so that is it's a tax-free item. Why? Because for the poor people. So same thing here. In a Muslim country, your personal residential property is, say, levy-free. It is kharaj-free. It is usher-free, etc. So that's why there you won't pay. But on the dar, you will have to pay. Because why? That is a land that is producing. It's either ushri land or kharaji land. You understood that? So that's what I say. ووجه الفرق according to this riwayah that you have to pay on the arab, but you don't pay on the dar. This is the reasoning, right? Riwayat al-Jami Sahih, and this is the riwayat that appears in Jami Sahih. Anna dara, your residential, mulikat khaliyat al-mu'unati, it is owned free from any type of taxes. Dun al-ardi, not agricultural land. Agricultural land is either usri land or kharaji land. And what's our proof? ولهذا واجب الأشر والخراج في الأرض. That is why our proof to say that the big tracts of land, that it is a taxable land by according to Sharia. Either you're going to be paying ushur or kharaj. So naturally, it follows that if there's a natural occurring minerals, as we described earlier, precious metals, whatever, you'll have to pay for it. You understood, right? والخراج في الأرض دون الدار, right? And not in the house. فكذا هذه المؤونة. So in the same manner, the same the tax or levy or whatever that is levied on the precious metals will also be on the ushri land and the kharaji land, not on the residential land. Is it clear now? Are you sure? I think first time we never get it properly, but I think we got it now properly. Lukman, is it 100% clear? Okay, carry on.
وإن وجد ركازا أي كنزا وجب فيه الخمس عندهم لما رويناه.
Right. Interesting now. Now, in wajada rikazan, if a person find now rikaz, yes, kanzan, he find processed metals, he find like gold coins, etc., etc. Wajaba fihi al-khumsu, there will be 1/5 in the humlimara, because of what we narrated. I was just reading the news this morning. I was thinking about you people. In fact, it's not a new news app in England. They were working on the sewers. There was a young guy, 18-year guy old, working on the sewers, and they were maintaining. So the sewer led to a hidden chamber underground, which was of an attic, and there was a distillery here in the 1800s. So this attic has been sealed up from the 1800s. Found 20 solid bars of gold. 20 solid bars of gold. There's it. It's in today's news in England. They were cleaning out the sewers. So the sewer led him into an attic which was sealed off, and they found 20 bars of solid gold in England yesterday. So this is now this masla here is now not about about unprocessed metals. This is processed metals already. So وإن وجد ركاز, if we find a treasure kanzan وجب في الخمس عندهم, then here we say that one fifth will have to go to the state. So you're living in a Muslim country, right? And you've done excavations, whatever, and you were digging up and you found some metal there. So we found coins or bars or utensils, right? One fifth. See, واسم ركاز يلقى الكنزي. So the word rikaz, although rikaz means anything that is buried, but remember in this context, it has a specific meaning that we speak about processed precious metals, right? Are you with me? Right. بمعنى الرقص, because of رقص means رقص, I tell you فركز means to drive something to the ground. بمعنى الرقص وهو الإثبات is to establish something, right? Now this is interesting masla here. This is saying, look here, this is obviously now in a Muslim country. If you find processed metals, and from the metals you can understand that this came here after Islam, then it is lukta. That means this belongs to a Muslim. So if you find a coin on the, those of you into coins, you see that all the different after the Khulafa Rashidin, they had coins minted, but they had their name on it. They had like Abbasid Khilafat, etc., etc. So if there's a sign that this belongs to a Muslim, now it comes to the Bab of Lukta. You will do the Bab of Lukta. I'll just give you briefly. If you find something, if it's an expensive item, you have to advertise it for 3-4 days or long period of time. I can't remember exactly, right? And then if the owner doesn't come out, then what you do, you must give it in charity. And if it eventually pops up, then you have to reimburse him and you will get the reward. And if it's a not expensive item that you'll do all of it, inshallah, it's a cheaper, like a lesser value, you advertise it for 1 day, and then if the person don't pop up, then you will give it in charity also. So this is a masla of lukta, picking up a lost item, lukta laqita yalaqatun. And then there's also the masla, if it's a small insignificant thing and you know the person won't be looking for it, or if it's like a consumable that it will perish, then you can consume it. And then also there's another masla, if you are poor yourself, you are worthy of zakat, then you don't have to give it to another poor person, you yourself can consume it, right? But if that man pop up at a later stage and he can positively prove it was his, then you have to replace it. So this is what he's saying in the next masla, very interesting, that if there's signs that this belongs to the Muslims, that means it's not that means it belongs to a Muslim, so it's his haq. Maybe it was his house before, he forgot it there or something, then the laws of lukta applies, right? But if the signs show that this metal here, or this, sorry, not metal, this precious, is from ayame jahiliyyah, it's from before Islam, then it is your luck. Then you say, what they say in English, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, né? What they say? Then you can keep it, but you have to give 1/5 to the state, right? So ثم إن كان على ضرب أهل الإسلام, ضرب means mint, né? Like a ضرب literally means to hit, but to mint the coin you call ضرب, right? So if it was minted according to the people of Islam, and how do we know? Right, كالمكتوبة عليها كلمة الشهادة, for example, is written there on the coin لا إله إلا الله. Or maybe there's a Muslim king, a Muslim ruler, and I tell you, the Muslim rulers used to have their names minted on. They used to have the Arabs. They like this, you know. You go to Saudi, you see every office, you see a picture of the king. You saw that. If you go to the whole Arab world, they're all infatuated with themselves. I know they're very impressed with themselves. The moment they come in power, they want their photos to come in every single office, every government office. If you go anywhere in the Arab world, whether you go to Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, you go any government office, they must have a picture of themselves. I don't know why they're so impressed with themselves. But anyway, if it in the past also they used to have like the picture or the portrait, the name minted on the coin. So if the signs there, then it is a lukta, and the laws of lukta take place. وقد عرف حكمها في موضعها, and all the details of lukta has been discussed there. I don't think you've done it as yet. Ne? We never do it. We'll do it. Comes, I think it comes from Kitabul Buyu, inshallah. Right? Carry on.
وإن كان على ضرب أهل الجاهلية كالمنقوش عليه الصنم ففيه الخمس على كل حال. كما بينا. ثم إن وجده في عرض مباحة وأربعة أخماسه.
Right. So وإن كان على ضرب أهل الجاهلية كالمنكوش عليه الثمن ففيه الخمس على كل حال لما بينا. Right. But if we found it minted according to people of Jahiliyyah, so you can see this is in a Muslim country, but this money here is before the advent of Islam, like I told you, right? Kalamankushi alayhi as-sanamu, like it is engraved upon it, idols. So now this is considered to be a treasure, even in a residential property, right? ففيه الخمس على كل حال. In our conditions, there will be 1/5 لما بينا, because of what we explained you earlier. So we gave you the details that this is not like part of the earth, etc. To say that there's no tax upon it, right? Okay, let's stop there. The next one also needs some explanation. Time is up. We will continue that tomorrow, inshallah. So, subhanallah, bihamdihi, subhanallah. Please be